I'm Mandy, the owner and founder of 417 Cocktails, and today we're going to do a little bit of a variation on a Paloma Roja. It usually uses tequila and Saint Germain and elderflower liqueur, but today we're going to make it spicy. So we're going to use tequila and some Ancho Reyes Poblano liqueur. I absolutely love a Paloma. I'm a big fan of Warritos to begin with. So a Paloma essentially is a lot like a margarita, but it's topped with a grapefruit soda. This essentially is the best way to make it authentic because Warritos is a soda from Mexico. It's the most popular brand of sodas in Mexico. I learned that by watching a Bravo reality TV show, so that's very interesting. So it uses tequila, lime juice, and grapefruit soda, and then usually some sort of simple syrup, whether that's a flavored or even just some agave nectar works. But today we are classing it up a bit. We're going to use a hibiscus syrup that you can get in the cocktail kit for the Paloma Roja, but we're changing it up a bit today. So we're going to use a hibiscus syrup. We're going to use a fresh jalapeno. Honestly, whatever pepper you have in your refrigerator would be great. We've got a lime and Ancho Reyes. This is their verde liqueur, so it's a chili poblano. It's a little bit spicy, a little bit smoky from the poblano. It's amazing. And then I'm using Hornitos Reposado tequila. To make a hibiscus syrup, if you're like a DIYer, it's super easy. Dried hibiscus is easy to find at any tea shop. You can find it online just about anywhere. It will make a beautiful, beautiful bright red color. So you just want to make like a strong tea with this. Boil a half a cup of water, a little bit more than half a cup because you'll lose some of it. Once it's boiled, pour it over about 2 teaspoons to 2 tablespoons of dried hibiscus flowers and let that sit for about 20 minutes. Drain it so the hibiscus you throw away, and then the leftover water, measure it. You should have around a half a cup. Whatever you have, use the equal amount of sugar, heat that on the stove until the sugar is completely dissolved, and then you have a hibiscus syrup. So for this drink, we're only going to use half an ounce, so that recipe is going to give you way more than what you're going to need for just one drink. So if you're hungover tomorrow, it's not my fault, all right? Keep it in the refrigerator. It'll be good for probably a month or two. Honestly, you'll know when syrups go bad. You open them, they usually fizz a little bit, they bubble a little bit because they've started to ferment, and then they have a very vinegary smell. They're not going to kill you, but they're not going to taste good. So no worries there. All right, so we've got the syrup down. Let's start building our drink. The first thing I want to do is we're going to take some slices of the pepper, and I am obsessed with spicy drinks and spicy food, but my skin is not at all, and it is really allergic to peppers. So I have to use gloves or I will itch for like the next 2 days and my fingers swell up a little bit, and then like my face does and all of that good stuff. So I am just going to give the pepper a smell because that's going to give me a really good indication of how spicy this pepper is and how many of these little coins I want to add. Honestly, this one doesn't seem insanely spicy. I am leaving the seeds in. Contrary to what almost everybody believes, all of the spice is not in the seeds. It's in the ribs, which is the lighter colored portion. That's where the majority of the heat is. We're going to leave all of that and we're just going to put it into our shaker. All right, I'm going to, well, no, I'm going to want one for a garnish. Actually, I'm going to want that whole guy. Okay, I'm going to put these away. My trick of folding them up in the gloves. Yay, okay. So we now have a few, I did like 4 jalapeno pieces. Next, we're gonna do our lime juice. Limes right now where I live, this is like the biggest one out of 6 pounds that I bought. It was like finding gold. They're super small, they're really hard, and they're not giving much juice at all. So I'm trying to get back in the habit that I used to be really good at doing, and that was before slicing the lime. You take it in the palm of your hand in the counter, and you do it like, I guess what would be like the equator of it, and you're going to push against it pretty hard, and you're gonna kind of feel it breaking up just a little bit. That's going to break the ribs just a bit. We're not trying to like smush it. We're just trying to kind of let it have a little bit more give. That's gonna give us some more juice. So now we can slice that in half. What's really funny, as I was saying earlier, that pepper isn't very spicy. Now that I'm doing other things, I can smell it, and I'm like, well, maybe the allergies have affected my nose just a little bit. All right, and then we're gonna use this type of juicer, and you wanna put cut side down, and we're going to juice that in there. We want about a 1/2 ounce. I don't know, especially tequila drinks, I'm extra lazy, and I really just usually do 1/2 lime. I don't measure that. All right, and then our fabulous hibiscus syrup, we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of it. It is, like I said, so pretty. And hibiscus goes so well with so many things. So if you do make the syrup yourself, try it in a gin drink. It is delicious with gin. Then we've got our ancho reyes. Like I said, it's gonna give us a little bit more heat and a little bit of more smokiness. We're just doing 1/2 ounce of it. And then we're going to do 1.5 ounces of our tequila. I'm using a reposado because I love reposados. And that's the only reason. That's it. There's probably a specific tequila that you're supposed to use with this, but use what you like. And I like reposado. Okay, and then, like always, I forgot to salt my glass before I started building the drink, and that is the reason why you never, ever, ever start with ice in your shaker, because it would just be diluting my glass right now while I correct my mistake and salt the rim on my glass. But with my mistake, I get to tell you guys something really cool. This spent lime that we just juiced, it is perfect for using to wet the rim of your glass. There is no reason to take this other half of really good lime and cut a wedge off of it to use a wedge. That's just wasting a lime, and there's just no reason for it. So take this spent half, rub it only on the outside. With salt, I kind of like doing one side really thick and then nothing on the other side. But again, it's your drink, do what you want. So I'm just using the spent lime, putting it on there, and then the kit comes with a hibiscus salt. Again, if you're a DIYer, all I did was I took kosher and sea salt in my like Ninja blender with some of that dried hibiscus that I talked about with making the syrup, and just blend that up. That's all it is, but it's really pretty too. So we've got a nice little rim on that, and is that glass not just beautiful? Oh, I love it. All right, so we have everything in our shaker because, you know, I messed up there, but that's all right. We're gonna add a couple handfuls of ice to it. We're gonna shake it up until it is nice and cold, but we're not gonna enjoy it yet because we're gonna top it with some of our soda, okay? And the shaking is really going to get those peppers to kind of release their oils and all of their spiciness, but we're gonna strain them out. So we'll pour that. That lime juice gives us a little bit of the bubbles on the top, and that's what part of the reason that we shake is for that aeration and to give us that foam and the good mouthfeel. I'm gonna put some crushed ice in there without that water. And then, like I talked about with the Warritos soda, all right, so let's use our wonderful bar spoon trick that just turns us into Lushes at home making a drink to a home mixologist. So take your bar spoon and we're gonna put it in our drink. I just hold it straight down. This one is a Japanese bar spoon, which means it has a teardrop here, and this swirl starts all the way at the top. So they're the easiest ones to do this trick with, but you can do it with any. We're then going to put our soda right along it, and you pour down it. This is going to keep it from fizzing over, and it also helps to stir it because it is sending the soda to the bottom of the glass as well. And less stirring means less disturbing of the bubbles. So then when I'm done, I will take the spoon and pretty much just do a lift. Almost like I'm just lifting anything up from the bottom to the top, and that's it. That way I want those bubbles, right? So we don't want to do this big stir. We just shook for a reason. Now we want to leave those bubbles. So this probably, as spicy as that seemed, that might not be the best idea for me to do, but you know what? I'm going for it. So that is going to be our spicy Paloma, or I guess it would be like a spicy hibiscus Paloma. All right. Oh, it's not too spicy at all. It's perfection. In fact, I would probably add some like Disco Inferno pepper drops to it, or when I would make my second one, because inevitably I'm gonna make a second one, I would probably put the whole pepper and maybe even muddle the peppers in the shaker before I add anything else, so they're even beat to crap even more than just the shaking, so I get even more of the pepper. So it's really fun to make spicy drinks because you can play around with the peppers, you can play around with how you put them in the drink, and every time you do it, they're gonna taste different because we never really know what that pepper is gonna taste like until we try it. If you're a person that can take a bite out of a pepper and survive, do it before you make the drink. It's really the best way to figure out how spicy it's gonna be. I just can't do that because I'm a white girl, so you get it. All right, guys. Let me know if you try this out. Let me know if there's any sort of variation that you want to see for a Paloma. They're such a fun drink and they're getting really, really popular right now. And I love just trying out different ways to do it. So if you have any fun tips about Palomas, anything you want to see me do, please leave it in the comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love for you to. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers.